our Ananda Bhante told about Tanhā, craving, and he told also the story of a rich man who had died, who was very, very stingy fellow. He had done dana to a Pacheka Buddha, but then he repented, and his wife who gave dana, he had discouraged. For doing dana, he got richness, but for repenting later after giving dana, he is not able to enjoy. So this is something very important we have to learn. Never repent doing good. There is no such thing called loss in it. Just rejoice that something good has been done. If at all you have to repent for doing unwholesome actions, bad actions. That is one very important message. And also craving. This is a very, very vast subject. Craving. Bhanteji once, I remember, he had done a small research on that and made a chart. How many kinds of cravings and how it expands and extends. Then he had named it Tanhā Jala. Tanhā Jala, the net of craving. It is net. Kama Tanhā, Bhava Tanhā, Vibhava Tanhā. Kama Tanhā is craving for sense, objects, sense pleasures. Bhava Tanhā is craving for existence itself. Vibhava Tanhā is craving not to exist. Now this Kama Tanhā is, okay, we understand that sense objects, we want this thing, that thing, so many things, one after the other, and mind has no limit. It is like a bucket without bottom. You pour water any amount and still it is empty and more is needed. So also sense objects, you keep on craving and collecting and you will be needing another one. There is no such thing called end. Okay, this is enough. That will not happen. If you are a person who is controlled, then you will say no, end. Or you will ask yourself, do I really need it? Need and greed is two things. You have to understand. Do you really need this thing? Then you think, okay, I need it, take it. But when you don't need it, just it is craving, then know that you are already caught in the net of craving. So then you have to work in your mind. No, enough. This I am not going to take because I don't need it. If that is developed, then you will enjoy more and more freedom in the mind, more and more joy in the mind, happiness in the mind. Because you are not dependent. You are not dependent on that thing. And when your mind is very clear that you are not dependent on that, your happiness is not dependent on that, you are happy deep within, even without that, then it doesn't matter. Have it. Take it. And then you have it. But not with craving, not with attachment. You took it for the sake of using it. That's all. So that is how you can manage with sense objects, sense desires. The desire that comes from sense objects, because these sense objects give pleasure. So it is desire for pleasure. So that is one craving. Sometimes, now the next one is craving for continuance. Bhavatanha has two meanings. Craving for existence and craving for continuance. Craving for existence is we don't want to die. We want to live. And any threat to life means it's a big fear. Say if you are in difficulty, if you are caught up in some difficult situation, in calamity, or with diseases, then there is big fear. But fear is there all the time. Fear of death is there. Why? There is craving for existence, that I want this existence. Even if it is miserable, still we don't want to live it. We will hold on to it. To exist, to live, to eat food, to drink, to sleep, to move about, to be with people. This is the normal life. We want it, we are comfortable with it. So that is the desire, that attachment. When we say existence, it comes with many more things. It is not just existing, but existing with all these things. Because one doesn't find any fun in existing oneself, unconnected to the all surrounding things. No. There is a lot of desire, a lot of attachment. So that is craving for existence. But it also has craving for continuance. Continuance of this state, this body. We have gained this body. We are born with body, and that body has been changing, has been growing old, and we have developed attachment to this body. And there is craving for continuance. This body should continue. And along with that, all the pleasures, all the things I see and hear and eat and taste and touch and all kinds of pleasures also should continue. So, say you are enjoying some nice food, you are eating, there is good taste. Craving for that taste is one thing, and that taste should continue further, more and more. That is another thing. That is bhavatanha, craving for continuance of that pleasant feeling. So, whether it is pleasant feeling or whether it is an object, we wish that it continues. We have, say, our near and dear ones. We don't want them to die. So we want their continuance. Their presence, to have their presence is one thing. To crave for their continuance is bhavatanha. So also if something is unpleasant, say you have pain And then you say, oh, I don't want this pain, I don't want this pain. So you want to discontinue that. So that is vibhava tanhā. You don't want it, you want to end it. So that is vibhava tanhā. In day-to-day life, we experience all the three. Kama tanhā, bhava tanhā, vibhava tanhā. Kama tanhā by way of craving for sense objects and pleasures. Bhava tanhā by way of continuance, craving for the continuance. And vibhava tanhā, craving for stopping, craving to stop, craving to end something unpleasant. A person is there, you are talking to a person and that person is unpleasant. You don't like that person and then they scream, oh, let this man go away. You want to get rid of that person. So that is craving for discontinuance. So vibhava tanhā. So kama tanhā, bhava tanhā, vibhava tanhā. All the time, one or the other is catching up. Kama tanhā goes and catches the sense object. Bhava tanhā, it works with continuance, liking, attachment. Vibhava tanhā, disliking, not detachment, disliking. Detachment is another thing. Detachment and renunciation, that is totally another thing. There it is not disliking, hatred-based thought, no. That is wisdom-based thought. You just let go. So these three tanhas are the root cause of all our sufferings. Second, this is the second noble truth. Tanhā. Dukkha, samudaya, ariya satya. This is tanhā. What is dukkha, samudaya, ariya satya? The Buddha says, yāyam tanhā pono pavika nandi raga sahagata tatra tatravi nandini sayathidan kamatana bhavatana vibhavatana. Yāyam tanhā, that craving, pono bhavika, which brings punabhava, rebirth. Yāyam tanhā pono bhavika nandi raga sagata. Not only it has brought rebirth, now it is running after Nandi, delights and pleasant things. Raga, lust. Sahagata, tatra vinandi. Tatra vinandi means in this sense object or in that sense object. Here and there. So we have 6 senses, so 6 objects, and these 6 objects means it becomes millions. Past, present, future, all kinds of things. Tatra vinandini sayatidan, namely kamatana, bhavatana, vibhavatana. Craving for sense objects, craving for existence or continuance, and craving for discontinuance. When it becomes, this vibhavatana becomes stronger and stronger, and the object of that dislike is oneself, then one will start thinking about suicide. Oh, what is my life? I don't like this life. What is the use of living? So he will or she will start hating oneself, one's life experiences, or one's relations, relatives, or persons or things around. And that hatred becomes so strong, and that person thinks, now let me end my life so that problems will be solved. and that is very strong desire, craving, and then one takes such stupid step of killing oneself. As Bhante said, it is a panatipata of the worst kind. Panatipata is killing. Killing of other beings is one thing. Killing of oneself it involves even more stronger hateful thought, very strong dosa chitta on oneself. And if somebody dies with this kind of mind, imagine what kind of birth that fellow will get. Because the last moments are filled with anger, filled with hateful thoughts towards oneself or towards others. But when one wants to end one's own life, then it is towards oneself. Even it may start with others. So this will lead to lower birth. Suicide will not take one to higher birth. It always leads to lower birth because the last moments are filled with unwholesome thoughts. Unwholesome, not only thoughts, a very, very strong unwholesome action. Now this craving, why this craving comes? The Buddha has explored so thoroughly the process of craving, the process of getting involved in suffering, and also the process of getting out of suffering. So this craving comes because there is feeling. Whenever there is feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling, craving comes up. If it is pleasant feeling, there is craving to have it. I want it, I want it, I want it. If it is unpleasant feeling, there is strong craving, I don't want it, I don't want it. And neutral feeling, it depends. Most of the time one is unaware, but mostly it is to have neutral feeling. Also there is it gives rise to mostly to greed, of course to ignorance, but also to greed. So whether it is pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, whatever feeling arises, instead of understanding it, instead of knowing it, what we normally do? We normally generate craving, tanhā. So this feeling is the condition for craving. Then Buddha went further. What is the condition for feeling? Why this vedana comes? It comes because of contact. Phassa paccaya vedana. Contact. What is this contact? There are 6 senses and 6 objects. Contact. Eye contacts visual object. Ear contacts sound. Nose smell. Tongue taste. Body touch. And the mind contacts mind objects. Now for these 5 physical senses, the object has to be here and now, in the present. Then only contact takes place. But for mind, no need. The object can be about the past, object can be about the present, object can be about the future. Any object. That is how we go into the past. Since mind is able to contact the past objects, the past happenings, the past memories, experiences, all those words can come into your mind. So about past things, present things, and future, then the range of mental objects is unlimited. So, because of these objects which are presented all the time, and another mechanism of our existence is we need to have an object all the time. If mind has to exist, there must be an object. Without object, a chitta cannot arise. So we have to hang on to one or the other object. Now, that is what the Buddha teaches. This is the discovery of the Buddha. Since we have to have an object, with what kind of mind we have to have. Instead of craving, change it into wisdom. Instead of tanhā, panya. Then all the whole wheel is changed. If it is tanhā, that will lead to attachment, that will lead to karma, that will lead to suffering. If it is panya, that will lead to non-attachment. That will lead to removing of karma. So no suffering. So with these sense objects, it's sense contact, it starts. But the sense contact comes, what is the condition for that? Senses themselves. Internally we have 6 senses, externally we have objects. That's senses. Salayatana, 6 sense spheres. They are spheres, words. Why do we have these 6 senses? Because we have mind and body. We have this mind and body. Now we have human mind, human body, so we have 6 senses. Why do we have this mind and body? Because we are born. The vijnana, patisandhi vijnana. The first chitta when it arose in this life, at that moment we are born. And for that chitta to arise, a physical body is needed. So when in the mother's womb, when that tiny fertilized egg, when this chitta arises, that is the moment of birth. So we are born, and from then onwards, this body is developed, or it is changed further into growth. We are born, that's why we got this body. And because we got this body and mind, we got these 6 senses. Because we have 6 senses, all the time we are contacting. Because we are contacting, there are all the time feelings generated, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. And because these feelings are there, and awareness and wisdom are absent, craving comes. And because of craving, attachment and actions. But first of all, why are we born? Question comes, why are we born? Because in the past life we have done enough karmas. So many karma. Karma means actions. We have done so many karmas that so much of karmic energy is generated. And in that life itself, all the karmas did not find opportunity to get fruit. So there is a lot of stock, lot of energy accumulated. So that energy pushes us, that pushes the mental stream of the mind. to once again arise. So that's why it arises. Chitta arises and again continues till this body supports. Chittas are arising, passing, arising, passing, arising, passing. So that mind stream, as long as this body supports, if it becomes sick or old, then time comes that mind will not find this body as suitable anymore. So the last chitta arises, passes, and the next chitta arises again with totally different body. And then this body is called dead body. Okay, so that is how we die. And then there is birth. It is punabhava, arising, re-arising of the chitta. So that is how it goes on. And why we were doing these karmas in the past? Because of ignorance, craving. The same point we reached. We started with craving now. Once again we reached there. Ignorance and craving. That creates karma. Karma creates a lot of energy. That brings us one more life. And with that birth we have this body and mind, senses, contact, feelings, and whenever there are feelings, attachments, repulsions, likes and dislikes, and then again karma. We are doing karma again. We are thinking, speaking, physically doing karma. Again generating karmic energy so much that in this life it is not exhausted. The results are not given in this life. It is so many karmas are produced, and there is no enough time to give fruit. So that energy is accumulated, and you can't make something just nothing. It has to produce something. So one more birth will get. So this is called wheel of life. Wheel of life. Paticca Samuppada, dependent origination. How depending on something, something else originates. So this wheel of life, we are caught up. So instead of Tanhā, if we generate Panya, then this wheel of suffering, Dukkha Chakra, that will be cut. Instead of Tanhā, generate Panya, become aware, and you don't allow that Tanhā to come up. When there is no Tanhā, there is no attachment. When there is no attachment, there is no karmic energy created. So with Panya, we can destroy all karmic forces. So that is how, when karmic forces are destroyed, then that will not be able to give any more further rebirth. But then this Panya has so many levels, starting with simple awareness, Sati, Panya, then that has to strengthen. Then we need the Panya of Magga and Phala, that is Sotapatti Magga. If that Chitta arises, that Panya will destroy so many karmas, that all those karmas which can take us to lower worlds, all the karmas that can take more than 8 to 7 lives, all karmas are destroyed. If you become Sakadagami Magga Chitta, then that will destroy everything, only one life. Anagami, it will destroy all the karmas which can bring us in Kamaloka. If only you are born in Rupa, Suddhavasa. And if you become Arhats, Magga Chitta, that destroys all kinds of karmas. Kamaloka, Rupa Loka, Arupa Loka, all lokas. So much of Panya is needed. It is like breaking a stone. If the stone is very, very hard, then you need that much of strength, that much of strong tool. So to remove all this ignorance and craving, so deep-rooted, ultimately we need these Magga Chittas. Only they have the real capacity. But Lokiya Panya also helps us to cut down lot of particularly unwholesome karmas, destroy unwholesome karmas. But Magga Chittas are the ones which really destroy in an irreversible way. So this is the story of Tanhā. If you allow Tanhā, then there is another story. If you stop Tanhā, there is different story. So choice is now yours. Buddha has given how to develop this wisdom. Sila Samadhi Panya 8.1. So we conclude here today.